Hello and welcome to the Rumble Hollow Crash Course. You read the title, let's get started. Today's topic, telekinetic modifiers. There are two telekinetic modifiers, hold and flick. To hold something, you put one hand out, palm forward, fingers up, and one hand directly below it, palm up, fingers out. Objects you hold follow the hand that was on top when you did the hold pose, until they move fast enough to break the hold. Beware that speeds that are normally fine can become too much when under hit stop. If you try to grab an object with a hand it's already being held by, it cancels the hold. If you use a different hand, it will overwrite the hold if the object is grounded, or they will combine if the object is ungrounded. If a held object becomes ungrounded, the hold is broken. To flick an object, you put both your hands out, palms facing either left or right, but they both have to be facing the same way. One is going to be up by your face and one just above your waist. You cannot flick a grounded object. Flicked objects follow the average position of both of your hands, much like an object that is being held with both hands. But flick also gives you rotational control. Think of it like this. When you flick an object, a string is created that goes from the relative position of your hand through the object and through the other one. So as you move your hands around, that string is moved. Unlike hold, flick never breaks no matter how fast the object is going, until it is grounded, or the object breaks. Or if it's someone else's flicked object, you can flick it yourself to steal it. You'll notice that held objects follow your instructions a bit more quickly than flicked objects. You can think of hold as those toy grabbers you can find at Dollar General. It follows your hand really quickly, but your hold on the object itself isn't all that good. Whereas flicked objects you're holding onto with a rubber band or a bungee cord. It won't let go, but that's not always a good thing. Let's talk usage. Hold is most often used as a velocity supplement for combos. Primary modifiers add velocity to objects instead of setting their velocity, which means an object that's already moving gets more speed than one that's not. You can do this with flick, but it usually isn't wise. The first method of doing this, as shown, is to bring the object back and then pull it forward into a combo. The second method is to approach a summoned object so that when you initially hold it, it moves forward because your arm is outstretched. If you do a combo fast enough, it can get extra speed too. This technique is called a slingshot. Flick, on the other hand, has only one main use other than some niche mechanics in flying, which I'll get to in a minute, and that is flails. The flail is a simple concept. You flick an object and then whip it around. This lets you attack from odd angles, including from above, or in some situations, behind. And if executed well, can attack behind walls as well. By itself, this technique is a little underwhelming, but in aerial or high-speed maneuvers it can be a lot more intimidating. Now what everyone's actually here for, flight. Flight can be separated into three main categories: hold flight, flick flight, and segmented flight, which is flight using both flick and hold, sometimes called fold flight, and a lot of people refer to it as controlled flight, though that's incorrect. Hold flight is finicky at best. The only control you have over the object's rotation is where your body pushes it down, which makes it incredibly difficult to control. And the only benefit you get in compensation for this is the ability to get rid of the object. On client, hold flight is much better, but I'll get into those reasons in my full flight video. For a quick summary, hold follows your hands faster, which makes up for ping on client, and also because of some weird interactions, the structure won't rotate like it does on host. Flick flight gives you that rotational control you need to stay in the air for longer than about 5 seconds. But flick uses both hands to control the object, which means it's almost impossible to do poses and stay airborne. Segmented flight has the benefits of both, plus some extras, and the drawbacks of both, plus some extras. It's called segmented flight because it separates the control of the object between your two hands. The hand you have hold with has almost complete control over where the object is in relation to you, which means the other hand can take all of the rotational control. So you control where the structure is with one hand, and it will always face the other hand with one point, or one side. The rotational control of segmented flight isn't actually any different than a flick-only flight, but having the location all in one hand lets you think about it differently. Unfortunately, like with hold flight, segmented flight loses its hold if you double jump too quickly, or if you ever start moving too fast. Segmented flight also takes longer to mount on because you have to do 2 separate moves. Some easy mounts to close out the video. For hold flights, it's usually easiest to just hold the object and then dash jump with the other hand. For flick flight, you can do an easy high dive with kick, flick, double jump, and then you just kind of ride it on the way down. Or an alley-oop with kick uppercut, dash jump flick, schmack. Segmented flight is easier to fly on but harder to mount. The easiest mount I know is to do a kick, hold flick, bring the side that was on bottom to your dominant side, and then jump with the opposite hand, which brings you into a nice joystick position of control. Or alternatively dash jump for some good starting momentum. That's all for today. I hope you learned what you needed to, or what you wanted to. If not, you can find more in-depth explanations in my guide videos. And whatever you do, keep on rumbling. Please, this game desperately needs a bit larger player base. I'm begging.